I'd never do that. I think that's it. That. Okay. I'm actually live now, right? Aren't I? Yes. Okay. On my end, I'm actually live now. Okay. Yeah. Here we go, boys. Let's put the chats over here or something for me. That's never gonna stay up, is it? Oh well. Okay, so I've been talking to myself for a while. Apparently, if you're streaming to YouTube, you have to, inside of YouTube, what's it called, like YouTube Studio, inside of there, you also have to click live. Otherwise, you're just streaming to like your own little private stream, where you can check if everything is working. So of course it was working, I could see myself, I could hear myself, that's fine. But you guys couldn't. Okay, but it's working now. Yeah? I'm very sorry. Legendized, Jonah. I would never betray you like that. You know I wouldn't, man. You know I wouldn't. Okay. So, hello everyone. That's, okay, let's see. Is the quality good? Like, can I go into 1080p? Can I? I can. Great. I'm just checking here on my phone if I can actually see my own stream. That would be great. Yeah, it's very readable. Okay. Nah, I very much enjoy this. You ruined me. Nah, I would never. You're just lying, man. How could you? Anyways. Hello, everyone. Today we are indeed continuing with our magic programming language, also known as C++. Between last stream and this one, I've actually gone and made a little design document. I mean, it's literally just a couple lines of comment, but I want to get a general idea of how we are actually going to build this engine up. And I've also done a little bit of more coding. So I've designed like a basic template for how a scene is going to look. Actually, that's going to have a capital. Just noticed. I'm still quite inconsistent with my naming. I want to do everything lowercase just by my nature of doing things. But I've realized that is actually horrible for C++, because if everything is lowercase, there's really no distinction between type and just the name of like an instance, so it's really annoying. So that's why I'm trying to change my style. Anyways, can it run Doom? Yes, it definitely should be able to do that once it's done, and that is only going to take like 3 years from now. So I mean, that's gonna be great, man. That's the right question to ask right now. Anyways. So I worked on a little bit of a template for our scenes, and then our world, and then our UI, which is all going to be very important. So let's see what I wrote down here. So you'll initialize a game given an instance, and then start a load sequence, then this is practically the first scene. I think later I kind of revised the first part of this document already. It's great, man. I'm doing well. So cuboid engine, CE is just cuboid engine, will keep a current scene. This can be switched by the logic of said scene. There must always be precisely one active scene. The scene is just some logic, so some sort of tick function that does things, some sort of 2D graphics and some sort of 3D graphics, where of course the 2D graphics are going to be the UI, and the 3D graphics are going to be the ray traced, voxel renderer. The 2D layer is rendered on top of the 3D layer, right? So if you click on a button, it will just actually click the button instead of like the voxel that's behind there somewhere in the 3D scene. And the 3D render must just be like a world render something, where the world is of course also some space with some logic. That makes sense, right? Mouse clicking will first select the 2D layer, indeed, and then the 3D world if the former yielded no result. So cuboid game is not needed, so the kind of idea that I threw around before, where I was like, well, maybe we can have like a special class that's a cuboid game, and then a client, like an actual game, could extend this class and then implement a couple of abstract functions, and then there we go. But I'm actually not going to do that. That is a little bit too abstract for me, and we really don't need it. So we won't. Instead, we are going to... Right, we need some game metadata. I was thinking metadata, that's weird, but yeah, like game title and all of that stuff. So we're just going to give like a struct with some metadata about the game, like what it's called and kind of what it does. And then just the first scene, which most likely will just be the loading screen, right? That will also be a quote-unquote scene. Am I already... Okay, no, I saw some loading going on. Man, if the internet is going to give out already on the first time, that's kind of sad. Is it going to be a low-level engine like Bevy or high-level like Unity? It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle, to be completely honest. So... let's think about this. So Unity, it will definitely not be Unity, right? Let's get that one straight. I do not have like a couple hundred programmers under my command whom I can just make do anything. That's not going to happen. Unfortunately, I do have to do this kind of by myself, so we're doing this in a not as sophisticated way as Unity does it, that's for sure. But is it super low level? Probably not. Open 100 pages of ChatGPT. Yeah, you write a ray tracer. Actually, to be honest, if I ask ChatGPT to write me a ray tracer in OpenCL, it will probably do that. That's interesting, isn't it? Maybe that's actually a good idea. Maybe that is a good idea, man. Who knows? You might be onto something. Instant company-sized board of programmers. You know what? I'm actually going to try that. It's good that you say that now. So yeah, I'm actually going to just write that down real quick. Write down, okay, let's test ChatGPT, and then maybe in the next stream we'll actually use ChatGPT. But you're not wrong. What have I done? Yeah, you've basically just ruined the stream, man. It's now just gonna be me prompting ChatGPT to write all the code that I need instead of me actually writing the code. But to be honest, getting a couple of templates, even though they might be wrong in some places and they might have some bugs here and there, it might still be good for productivity, which is something that we will desperately need as a one-man team. If you can even call it such. But yeah, so the first scene will then be the main building block of the engine, and everything revolves around this scene. So the scene is really the first class citizen of our engine. Everything is going to revolve around this. You can see that it is final. So that is fine, I think. Why did I make this final again? That's a great question. We could swap out world and UI, but that's maybe not great. Yeah, why did I make this final, man? I don't know. This shouldn't be final, I don't think. Let's get rid of that. So instead you can extend scene, and then you can implement like render and tick for the different scenes that you might want to write yourself. Just learned they of course had to make a full anime series of Persona 5. It apparently follows the game, borrowing voice lines and general writing alongside the full plot. I mean, if they are genuinely going to use voice lines and general writing alongside the full plot, then maybe it's not even that bad. You know, remember when they made that Avatar movie? Remember that one? Where they basically didn't even watch one episode of the actual quote-unquote anime, you know, the cartoon. And then they just didn't borrow anything. And they definitely didn't borrow the writing. And then it also didn't really follow the main plot. Man, that was great. I loved that movie. Anyways, you know, that's in the past now. Right, so you can notice here that class here is a templated class. It's not like an actual class for scene. And in this template, we have some world type and some UI type. Oh, now I remember why this was final. So actually, yeah, so you're not really going to write the scene yourself. So the scene is on my side, right? That's on the engine side. I just create, or I just accept a scene. And I have this template class, which literally is a template of a class, which means that you can give it some parameters, template parameters, and then the template will construct a class for you. In other words, you do not need to extend this class at all. There's no need for inheritance here, because instead what we're saying for this template, okay, I just need some world type and some UI type to make a scene. And that means that, of course, we have here these concepts which say that, well, the world type needs to be a base class of world, or, well, world needs to be a base class of world type, right? So it basically just needs to be a subclass, if that makes any sense. And the same thing for UI. So the UI type that we take in here, it needs to be some sort of child of the actual UI class that we define. Therefore, you can create a scene of your own by just creating your own world class and your own UI class. And then with that, you can construct a scene. And you don't need to construct your own scene and your own scene logic, because that is done for you by the template. It's great. I love zero overhead abstractions, because of course this doesn't have any runtime overhead at all. Right? Otherwise, you might have some virtual function lookup tables, and you know that can take a bit of time. But now we don't have that, which is great. Also, any tips on line rendering? I'm writing a direct pixels to frame buffer, which makes life difficult since I need the implementation on my own. Line rendering. Well, that shouldn't be too difficult, should it? I mean, it's just one point to another point and you interpolate along the way. Of course, you're going to get a horribly aliased line. But you know, that might not be too bad. If you don't want any aliasing, you're going to have to kind of blur the lines somehow. Which means you probably want to make it like 3 pixels thick and then have the outer pixels be a little bit kind of transparent. That's going to be difficult with transparency issues, but you know, you get the idea. I swear my dogs have autism or something. What are your dogs doing, man? What's the dog doing? I can do a bunch of various algorithms or use the native algorithm or the naive algorithm. Right. Yeah. No, you can, yeah, definitely. He wants outside. Oh, but then he also wants inside at the same time. Yeah. Okay, that happens. Yeah, it's weird, and it happens with dogs. You turn back, and then there he is. Please let me go back inside. Okay. For the scene, so I only wrote this template, right? I didn't implement anything. Because it's a template, we cannot put the implementation inside of our CPP files. It has to all be inside of the header. There are ways kind of around this where you can call certain functions that may be in some sort of internal file. Some non-templated functions. Okay, let's get started with this. So basically, scene, it's not going to take in anything, right? It's just going to construct our world type, which this of course will be a world type. Hello, and the other one will be a UI type. I'm not sure why it is all why none of this has any highlighting. Pretty sure I should use the ampersands there. Let's just try to build it. What are you going to tell me? What's wrong, man? Ooh. Cannot open include file game cubit game.h. No such file or directory. That is true. Now where are you? With engine. Yeah, so this should be scene.h. Scene.h. That's twice in here. Okay. Yeah, let me in. I need food. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so there's something here. Okay, no, as you can see, all the syntax highlighting is working again. Oh, good stuff. Don't you just love it when code just magically starts working again? Now, each algorithm has a bunch of requirements though, so I don't know if it works when doing the top, right, bottom, left. Might have to do some flipping. Some flopping, yeah, you might also need to do some flopping, but yes, maybe. So world type needs to have a default constructor. That's a requirement. Maybe I should put that in requires. maybe. Let's see, it might just be required already. Because of course it's a subtype. So world type, we just default construct that, it has to. And then the same thing for UI type, just a default constructor for the UI type. There we go. And then for a copy constructor, we need to do something similar. So here what we need to do is we need to invoke the copy constructor of world type. So we're going to copy scene, and then our type is going to get scene dot world, right? It's going to copy itself here as well. And the same thing for UI. Wait, why am I doing this? Oh no, that's true. So hold up, that's wrong. This world needs to be world type, and UI needs to be UI type. That's my bad. Which means that basically I can just do this, right? Hey Jasmine, welcome. And then the same thing here, of course. So we're going to say underscore world is just copy that, and underscore UI is just copy the scene underscore UI. And of course we will enforce that UI and world also have copy constructors, so this should be completely fine. And then the same thing works for the move constructors, which will do literally the exact same thing. Not sure where the no accept goes, to be completely honest. Before the initialization, probably. Scene dot and then world, and we're going to do the exact same thing. Right. And then the UI will be scene dot underscore UI. Okay, and the destructor, what do we need here? I don't think anything. Right, the destructor of world and UI will automatically be called when the scene is destroyed. So this is totally fine. Okay. We could even add more types here, where we could just define some do this on destruction type if we really want to. But using these templates is actually great. I really love it. It gives you a lot of freedom when it comes to creating these classes that you would otherwise need to use inheritance for, right? Otherwise you would need to use virtual functions, abstract functions even, and then the other programmer, right? The game developer would have to implement those, and it's much nicer to just construct a type using other types. Quite convinced of that. So of course we also have just a getter and a setter for these layers. Why am I calling these layers? Might as well just say get UI, right? And then get world. Makes more sense. This should be UI type and world type. World type. Man, it really doesn't like that. Why not? Why are you upset? Oh, because that's not how I'm spelling this. Okay. My bad. It happens, it happens. Okay, so this will just return and then world. And it's just a reference, right? It's a const reference, so I don't want any weird changes, but at least you can view the world and you can view the UI. Not sure if this will be needed, but it's a nice to have. Also notice the CE no discard, so if you look this up, then you will see this. So define CE no discard, and that is just the no discard attribute right here. Which means that the compiler will actually give you a warning if you do discard this result. So if you call get world without anything else, where can I show this? Maybe in here, for example, or in here in the init. So if I would say scene, and then maybe like world and UI, right? Scene, so we're just going to construct that, default construct that. And then I do scene.getUI, and I don't do anything with it. Look at this. Unused result of a function with a no discard attribute. You'll actually get a warning here. Unannotated fall through between switch labels. Wait, no, that's probably not what I need. Unannotated fall through between switch labels. Oh, do I need to break here? A bit upset about that. Maybe. I don't know where else there could be a fall through. Okay, so maybe Visual Studio isn't too upset about this. It's possible, but at the very least, ReSharper is upset, right? Not Discord. So it will at least give you a hint that maybe you shouldn't do this. Which is great, because of course, if you call something a get UI and you're not using the result, that would be kind of weird, and you would probably have a bug. So yeah, now you get a little message saying, hey, you might actually have a bug here, because this doesn't really make a lick of sense. So yeah, you probably did something wrong, man. Anyways, now come the big two. So I made a delta time type def here, which is just a double. I switched to using the using statement because everyone else is doing that, and I do admit it is a little bit more intuitive than type def double time or something like that, right? Double type. They're using that too much. What the hell am I doing, man? Double time, delta type. Time. End me. Anyways, yeah, so this is definitely less intuitive than this, I'm pretty sure, right? Now it's very clear, okay, delta type is a double. And it's not like double delta type, okay, which one is which? Is double a delta time or is delta time a double? Which I actually genuinely struggle with sometimes. I always get those two mixed up. So yeah. Not sure, I'm pretty sure that using is a somewhat, or using in, man, it's so confusing. Man, using is so confusing. That it's great because it rhymes, it's true. But yes, so it is very confusing because, or it is somewhat of a new feature, I believe, in C++. So I'm not sure if it is in like older versions, like C++ 11, maybe it was introduced there, C++ 14. It's definitely in C++ 14. And it is most certainly in C++ 23, which is what I'm using, or at least a pre-release version of that, so that's great. Anyways, so render and tick are not really going to do anything too special. So render is really just going to call world.render, right, with the delta time. I should actually give that a name, dt. And tick is really just going to do the same thing for worlds. It's going to be world.tick with the dt. And then for the UI, the same thing. Notice that the world ticks before the UI, or renders before the UI. That is very intentional. So the world is going to render to a frame buffer, probably just a default frame buffer. And remember that this is a ray trace world, which means we're going to do a lot of stuff in just GLSL, right? And in reality, it is simply going to be two triangles stacked on top of each other, like some drawing stuff. So we got two triangles like this, right? That will make a screen like that. And then we're just going to render like a square onto these two, right? Or a rectangle, I suppose, just the size of the screen. And the world is going to be on there, but it will just be basically a texture that we ray traced. You understand? So it's super, super simple. Very bare bones. And then once it's done, we just have a 2D image, right? Like we didn't do anything 3D at all in OpenGL. OpenGL wouldn't know anything about anything 3D. We just did some 2D rendering. Then we're going to come on top of that with our UI. So the UI will very simply just be rendered right on top of the frame buffer. Like literally just like that. So then transparency works perfectly. We will have no issues with transparency, which is great. So then something like you know, like a menu button and like a gear icon with the that's a great gear icon here. There we go. The settings will just be rendered there, and then maybe you have like some Minecraft toolbar here. You know, they'll just be rendered straight on top of the frame buffer world. So it is then imperative that, of course, this frame buffer with the world in it is rendered first. So we first have like this world with, I guess it's green, right? Our nice little voxels in it. There we go. That's kind of the idea. That's what we're aiming for. So therefore, world needs to render before the UI renders. Very important. Then for tick, I suppose it doesn't really matter. But we're going to keep up with the same order. I mean, why not? Right, why not? Now, this is, of course, really simple, really bare bones. We will definitely be adding stuff here over time. But for now, I think simplicity is key. It will be nice to maintain it like this. So we will. Right, we will. Okay, so then scene is something that our engine will accept. There will be some sort of function that is like set scene that will accept a scene. And the fun part about that is we don't even need to give it an instantiated scene. We can just give that function the scene type and then instantiate that function right there. So what we can do in cuboidengine.h is we can do ce export and then void and then switch scene. And then literally what we can do is we can say, actually we don't need to even export this. We can say template. And then we'll just have some sort of scene type, right? Like we used before. It will be a type, name scene type. And that's it. Then what this function is going to do is it will just do some sort of internal switch scene method, which will not be exported. Right? A non-exported void switch scene, which does take some sort of scene reference scene. Right, why are you upset? Oh, because you need some sort of template arguments. Right. You need some sort of template reference. Okay, yeah, that's I guess slightly slight disadvantage here. Well, I wanted to say as well, then we can literally just say something like scene, or even scene type, scene. There we go. And then we can just do switch scene with scene. Right. That would be nice if we could do that. Be very, very nice. Fortunately. I don't think we can. Right, because we have the same kind of issue where our scene, of course, has template parameters. Ah, interesting. Is there a way that we can forward these template parameters somewhere else? Because this would accept any scene, yes? So I don't care what the template parameters are. Right. I literally don't care. So what you can do, of course, is you can have like a world type. Let's learn together here, because I'm sure this should be possible. And a UI type, yeah. And what you can do then here is have like world type, UI type. And then, of course, this scene, this switch scene here, it will just automatically take these template arguments. Right, okay, so that's pretty cool. You can do some sort of type name, scene type, and then world, something like that. What we can do inside of scene, you of course have these, but you can also have a using and then world, and that will just be world equals world type. This will be something like scene, world, and scene UI. So here we define our own types, right? And this will just literally be your scene world and scene UI. That's just the same thing, right? That's what the using does. And then in here, right, we can use these again. So we can use scene world. I'm pretty sure, but I can't find it. Is this public? It wasn't public. Okay, so now it's public. So now I can see it. Maybe. And then type name. Let's see if this works at all, man. And then this was UI. Scene UI. Oh, and this was scene world, yes. Oh. Where's there? Okay. And then you just do nothing for now. Let's see if we can compile like this. And let's see why it would scream at us. It doesn't scream at us. See, so that actually works. That actually works. Though maybe I should do switch scene from QIGame game. Oh, right. No, it might not work actually. We should call switch scene here. And then with some sort of scene type. So this would be with a scene, CE scene, with a CE world and a CE UI. Yes, so this would work. But it doesn't. Undefined CE world. Right. So we're never actually using world. But of course we need to export all of that too. So let's see here. In engine.h we need to export that too. So we have include world.h includes UI.h. Which of course defines the UI type. Actually it doesn't. That's going to cause more issues, isn't it? That's certainly going to cause more issues because these types are completely undefined. Like they're not implemented. I mean, they are declared, but not implemented. Cannot convert argument 1 from scene type to const CE this. Switch scene from Oh, this is CE world. Oh, because this is scene UI and that's also world type. Yeah, so you see that it actually works. It actually works. So this should do it then. But you get linking errors, right? Because you know these methods aren't implemented, so you're getting linking errors. Okay, but that's okay. That's okay. The main idea here is that this works. So what you can do is you can just get a type from somewhere else and then use it as a template argument, which is, in my opinion, really cool. I just don't understand why I wouldn't be able to see it, because surely you see that it does work. And if I change this to world UI, man, what the hell am I even doing? If I change this one to scene UI, so it's both scene and scene, then it stops working. It will tell me, well, you know, it doesn't actually accept two scenes. So you're doing something wrong. But somehow this does work. Basically C++ defined in one sentence. Somehow this works. Basically exactly like that. So yeah, great. Okay, but in all seriousness, how do we forward any template arguments? Like, I don't care what these template arguments are. So I don't want to care about this. I just want a scene with some mystery template argument and some mystery template argument. Let's see, what do I need to do here? So C++, right? C++, and then a accept type without knowing templates. Something like that. That takes any data type without using templates. So you have like that's just a uint a. That's just a void pointer. Yeah, okay. So you can definitely use a void pointer. Void or a variable number of arguments. You can use var args for this. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Okay, so, but obviously we're not going to use void pointers for that. That's a little bit crazy. Prof learned hacky C++ that was considered good code 10 to 20 years ago and didn't update his knowledge. Yeah, no, I mean, I've had a professor like that. It kind of goes that way, you know? But basically it's not really possible then. Because this is my question, right? Function that takes any data type without using templates. Oh, but that's not completely true. No. I want a set type. I just don't know its parameter or its template parameters. A template pointer. What does he want? So t true t using raw type, decal type, t type, raw type. How's he doing? I need to be able to have any object that takes a single bool as a template parameter and obtain the type of that object without a bool. Okay, interesting. Not really what I want though. Accept type without knowing type templates parameters. Maybe that's better. Are templates like generics in C#? No, they are similar in ways, but they are also very different. So they are similar in a way that, like here in scene, I can say, okay, I want a scene that has some generic for worlds, where I can then just make a scene with any sort of world type, right? Any sort of, any sort of world type. I suppose it's somewhat similar, though generics... I think it's with generics it's a bit more difficult to actually define boundaries like that. To just say, okay, this template argument or this generic needs to be some form of subtype of world. I don't think that's necessarily always possible, or if that's even possible in C#. But templates are conceptually very different. So a template class here, it's literally just a template of a class. It's not actually a class. So if I never construct a scene, this will just completely be removed from my code. Right? Actually, this will be completely removed from my code. This will not be compiled. Only if I actually invoke scene with two template parameters, it will use this template to construct a unique class that looks like this. So if I use world type 1 and UI type 1 for one scene, and then for another scene I use world type 2 and UI type 1, then I have two individual unique scene classes that are completely different, right? There's no use of any vtables, no virtual functions, no virtual function lookup or anything like that that you have for generics. I don't think it's for generics it's necessarily called virtual function or vtables, but it's similar to that anyways. So you have two very unique classes then, so it's basically a zero overhead abstraction this way, which is great, which is what I really love about C++. However, in some cases I just want to accept scene and not care what template arguments it has. Is that even possible? I'm not sure if it would be conceptually possible even. In a way, yes, because I'm just accepting some argument that will always have these functions and these variables. So in a way that should be possible, only it has different types inside of it. And it itself is, in principle, a different type, of course. Already loaded the chat. Chat's great, man. Welcome to the stream. Okay, let's look what we get. Accept certain types, template parameters of unknown type. Template non-type arguments. Non-type arguments? Type name. Yeah, these are just templates. What are non-type arguments? So this is just normal templated code. So this is not what I want, apparently. This... Oh, I can use auto. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, maybe it's possible that way? So if I use a scene with auto... Auto, is that possible? No. Can I substitute template argument auto for template parameter world type? That's so sad, man. What's going on here? And is this C++? Yes, this is C++. Maybe I should put that in the thumbnail or something. The thumbnail is very ugly, by the way. I'm so sorry for that. I just realized 15... No, okay, maybe it was a bit more. I was like 30 minutes before the stream started, I realized, you know, I actually need a thumbnail for a YouTube stream, don't I? So I had to slap something together in like a couple minutes just to get it up. And that's why it's a bit ugly, but now I know. Now I remember, so next time I'll make a better thumbnail. So yeah. Yeah, it was a bit sad. Maybe I shouldn't try to over-engineer this now. But yeah, so basically we're making a voxel engine. We're currently working on our scene code so we can switch in a scene and then switch it back out. That would be great, you know. That's very important for games. So we can start off with a loading sequence, then have like a main menu scene, then have a an actual in-game scene. Then you can switch that again back to the main menu, maybe. That'd be great. Only this is probably the point where inheritance would be nice, because of course, if I had used inheritance, then this wouldn't have been an issue at all. But okay, let's say that I cannot do this. So of course I don't need this at all. So I can probably get rid of this. But we can construct a scene here from our scene type, which is fine. But from there, what do we do? So we need to invoke some sort of function that sets the scene in our actual engine.cpp, right? So we need to have some sort of internal static scene, so like a static scene. This can actually be a pointer. This can be a pointer equals null pointer. Only this needs more templates, right? And I cannot know that beforehand. Oh, no worries about questions. Please do ask questions if you have any. Absolutely. So are you making an engine to make games, or a game engine made for one specific game? Which is why you are doing scene switching, was being rendered OpenGL or something. Yeah, so I'm making this engine just for an engine, so anyone can make a game with this. I do want to release this, of course. It's on GitHub. If you look on my GitHub, also known over mine over there, you will find Qubit Engine 2, which is what I'm working on right here. It's in the very early stages. It doesn't do anything yet, so don't expect anything of it. But sure enough, when we get there, it will be on GitHub, so anyone can use it. So that will be great. I myself, of course, do want to make a specific game with it. Although I say specific game, but I'm not entirely sure exactly what kind of game I want to make. I have a general idea. But yeah, we'll talk about that more later when we get there. Because if I shouldn't start promising things that I don't know will ever happen. So when we get there, and then I'll talk about it. OpenGL, yes, we are using OpenGL here. So we're using Glad LoadGL. Yes. So maybe I should just use a scene with a normal world. Then I can use templates. Man, this is so sad. I really thought I could just auto my way out of here. Okay, so maybe I can do a type. Let's go to google.com because usually that gives me better answers. So C++, and then store template type without knowing template parameters. Using a type without template arguments as a template argument. What? This results in an error. The template is for class template is missing. No idea what this guy is doing. Hey Maria, welcome to the stream. The container. Ah. Could I? Is same as, okay. No, this is not exactly what I'm looking for. Template parameters and template arguments. Template arguments. What is a template argument? This is a book. Okay, great. Okay. That's, yeah, true. Templates. Class, public, template. Okay, great. Great. What now? It's still the same issue. But they're not actually getting rid of it. So maybe this is then just not possible. Templated type without knowing template arguments, or with any template argument. Surely there is someone who knows this, right? There's just no way. Template class generic. Right, template, changing variable, I'm writing a generic wrapper class for a bunch of classes we have defined in other code. I'm trying to figure out that there's a way in C++ to write a templated class that can store a template parameter as a variable. Yes, it can. That's not necessarily what I wanted. Yeah, because now they're going to start working with virtual functions. It's not clear the problem is in your code. What's the purpose of class C? Anyway, here's a guess what you want. Okay, it's again not entirely what I mean. Wanna leave again? Have to take a shower. All right, see you later, Maria. Thanks for dropping in. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to look at, and then we're just going to move on, and then I'll figure it out in my own time. Advanced template use. Oh, that looks nice. Man, that seems so great. Yeah, so you can initialize special cases for your template. So here you can see you create a special implementation for base int, as opposed to any other type. This is called a specialization. It's really cool. Because then for different types, you can give it different behavior. But that's of course not what we want here. But it's nice, of course, for if you're doing some sort of a plus operator, and then you can give it a special, like a special definition for strings as compared to any other types. So for any other types, it will just call its own plus operator. But for strings, it will do like string concatenation, which is pretty cool that you can do that. So yes. Scene is a little bit annoying right here. So, you know what? We're just going to ignore this. We're going to ignore this. I'm going to figure this out in my own time. I'm going to bother you any longer with this. Instead, we are going to focus on world and UI classes. So, of course, our world is going to contain all of the cubes or voxels that we have. And we need to render these, which is just going to be a huge method, right? It's going to do all of the what should I call it? All of the ray tracing setup, all of the communication with the graphics card. It's all going to go through this world render thing. So again, for the people who just dropped in, this will in fact be a ray tracer. So yeah, we need to use the graphics card, and we need to send all of this data of all of these voxels. We need to send that to the graphics card. Now, let's see here. These are all very simple functions. There's no template here, which is great because that means that instead I can just create an implementation file. So a world.cpp. And then we can hashtag include our world.h. Then we can start implementing. Right. Namespace CE. Okay, there we are. So, virtual protected, make it final. Right, so I need to choose one basically. We'll make it virtual then. A virtual destructor, and we will have. Will we? Wait, hold on. Hold up a second. So. Hold on a second. So render, we aren't going to do anything special in render, right? I don't want someone to come along and do something really weird in render. But tick would definitely need to be updated. Right, okay, wait, I already did this. I already thought about this. So update is something that can be implemented by the game developer. And click as well, so some sort of ray casting. We'll already do the ray casting for him. So he just gets some coordinates where the ray casting finished, right? We'll use some raycast result or something, which is either there was no result, the click went into thin air, or there is some sort of coordinate, some sort of voxel at the end of the raycast, right? But for now, yeah, so the implementer has its own update function, which will be virtual, which is fine. Yes. In essence, what you really need... That's pretty funny, actually. Because for UI and for worlds, you basically have the exact same thing, right? In both cases, you have an update where you may do various things, you know, run some animations, run some simulations, you know, people walking around, or like on UI, like having like a load icon spin. But that's pretty fun, but it's basically the same thing. And of course you have alt click, which is also the same thing, only for one it's like some sort of raycast result, and for the other one it's just like a 2D coordinate. Yeah. So, but that's interesting. Something that I just noticed. For world 2, something doesn't sit right with me here, because what we have here is a world that basically has all of this default code that no one needs to touch and no one should touch. And then you have 2 virtual functions. That's it. 2 whole virtual functions. That's crazy. Oh my god, why is everything breaking? No, FYI, I'm talking about my own little project. Man, it's not going too great here as well, I suppose. Actually, why are we on YouTube and not on Twitch? Well, I wanted to run a little experiment here on YouTube. I think when we're talking about reach and reaching just an audience here on YouTube, definitely working the best, right? I think we switched to Twitch because Twitch was actually allowing us to get like a partnership. Hi Ofek, welcome. Twitch was allowing us to do not partnership, affiliate already, very early on. And YouTube, of course, wasn't, because YouTube said, well, you know, you need like a bajillion hours of watch time and you need 1,000 subscribers, which I didn't have either of these, and I wasn't even close to either of these. But now we're actually getting somewhat in the neighborhood. So, you know, everyone, leave a like, subscribe. Subscribe, man. Oh, that would be great. We're gonna get, once we're going to get 1,000 subscribers, then we're just like officially, that's like the main threshold, right? Like the main goal of any YouTube channel. Then you're just like a normal YouTube channel. Before that, you're like a kiddie YouTube channel. You don't get anything for anything that you do. If you actually get to, it's also called affiliate, something like that, monetized, anything like that, then you're like every other YouTube channel, which is great. You know, it's great. You actually get something for the commercials that they play on your channel instead of not giving you anything, which is, yeah, that's great. Yes, thanks. Okay. Anyways, let's do this. Let's think about this for a second. So we have this update and on-click function, and that's really the only thing that will differ between worlds. So maybe instead of using different types of worlds, we make the problem even smaller than this, and we say, well, worlds is really just some sort of what you call it, like world behavior. There wouldn't even be a bad way to call it, right? Not even be a bad thing to call it. It's some sort of like world behavior that we will have, which will be, okay, what to do on an update, what to do if something is clicked, what to do here, what to do there. That's what the game developer needs to implement. And the same thing for UI. It's like a UI behavior. But I guess for UI it's a bit more complicated because you actually need like some graphics and some things that, okay, this is the size of the UI. For world, it's always going to be the same. Yeah. It's basically always the same. Maybe you can put some bounds on world, fair enough, but generally, world's gonna be a world. I think that's pretty fair, man. I think that's pretty fair. So how are working on a voxel engine? What do you have so far? So far, we have literally nothing. We did get pretty far. Before, on version 1, we did it on C#. And yeah, that worked reasonably well. But then we kind of stopped working on it, and I've been out of it for a little while, right? I think it's not quite been a year, but I've been out of it for quite a couple of months because of school. I had to do some other stuff. So now, basically, I decided to start over, start from scratch, get a little bit more professional when it comes to this, and that involves also using C++, just because I really like the language, basically. Looks like you are planning the structure. I think it's better to plan from the bottom up in this case. Yeah, you're not wrong. I tried to do some planning off camera, but clearly that didn't work, because now I'm here, and apparently I made some mistakes. It's a bit more specific. Yeah, Voxel engine is a bit more specific. But it's not too crazy, right? It's definitely not too crazily different, in a way. Okay, let's think here. So what if we said, okay, for a normal world constructor, we want a const world behavior, right? And we don't necessarily need anything else here. Okay, maybe we call it world behavior, something like that. Then in scene, we also want to get rid of all of this template crap, because clearly that's not really working out for us right now. Instead, for scene, what we want is we want some sort of world behavior as well. const behavior reference. And then we also want some const and then like UI. And UI is going to be different because of course here in UI, basically you will have this initialize function, which is huge, right? It will create some sort of tree structure with all of the UI elements. That's the idea. So basically you have like one root node, right? We'll have some sort of root node, and on the root, it will basically define some sort of widget that is like the size of your entire screen. So anywhere you click will basically enter you into the UI, and then that defines some sub-elements. So again, you have like the bottom inventory bar for Minecraft, for example. That's one thing. So inventory, and you also have a root that is like the top of the icons, right? What do you call that? Like a menu. And then the menu is also divided into several UI elements, which is like the settings. And I don't even know what that is. Let's say it's like an enter inventory, so it's also like an inventory button. Something like that, right? So basically you click and then you go into the root node. And then the root node says, okay, well, you are actually inside, you know, the root nodes or the general UI. So, okay, you clicked inside of the root node. So let's go inside of the root node. Root node is like, okay, can I do anything with this click? And it says, no, not really. So let's check the children. So it checks both. And it says, well, your click was actually inside of the menu area. So let's go here. Then the menu says, well, I can't really do anything with this click either. And then that goes to one of its children, it checks one of its children, and then the setting says, well, actually, yeah, you did actually click me, and I do actually have something to do. So now, bam, we're gonna do something. We're going to open the menu, the settings menu, right? If you misclicked and you didn't hit the inventory, you didn't hit the settings, then everything will basically just return false. Like, okay, I didn't have anything to do, I didn't have anything to do, I didn't really do anything. In other words, you clicked like here or something, like in this area, which means that this root is going to say, well, you know, someone clicked inside of the menu space, but you know, nothing happened. He didn't really hit anything. Therefore, maybe you should do some raycasting into the world and see if maybe the world can do something with this. Like from top down, a lot of things won't fit. That makes sense. Using some function of rect. Oh no. Doesn't that make the root just a group? Yeah. Yeah. So the root here, this is just a tree, right? It's in this case, it's like a binary tree, but it really can have any number of children per level. But yeah, basically what it is then. So I think that's pretty good, but that requires our UI to be a little bit more sophisticated. We need like some sort of UI constructor that basically describes what widgets are instantiated. That's it, right? Wait, hold on. So if I create some sort of like general game UI, then this root in its constructor is going to construct its children, yes? So we don't really need something too special, and its children are going to instantiate their own children. So we have a very kind of decentralized cascading effect here. I mean rect as how to render it. From the parent rect to the child rect. Oh, the rectangle. I was thinking about a programming language. Yeah, also bounding widgets. Yeah. So you have a widget has like a bounding box, and then it has like a special area, which is not necessarily the exact same as the bounding box, which contains like what's actually rendered, right? So you might have a bounding box that's like this, that's a bounding box, but then the render is actually like this, right? The thing actually renders like a texture here, but the rest is just completely see-through. That's possible because there might be some other button. Let's say that this widget has a button that looks something like this. So it actually kind of comes out of its own texture. So you need like a bounding box. I guess the bounding box is a bit off, of course, it would be something more like that, but you get the point. But you can still go into the child, right? Yeah, I think that makes sense. Do you want to use function pointer for the bounding box getter, or trying to use some units and such? The function pointer even. Man, that's kind of wild. No, I don't think I'm gonna use a function pointer for that. Yeah, I probably just want to have some sort of class, right, that just defines UI elements. It's like UI elements, which just basically defines something like this, and it just has like a texture, right? And it has like a bounding box, and it has like a render area, like where the texture needs to be rendered. So the texture bounding box, I suppose, and it probably needs some click behavior, right? How to be responsive? Like, what do you mean with responsive? I will be honest with you. Sounds like you might have more experience with this. I've made like a menuing system once, quite a long time ago. So I might not have thought of everything. But I could, of course, just use ImGUI. And I might, but I really want to do it myself too. It sounds pretty fun just to do it. Okay, but maybe I'm going off topic slightly here. So the texture bounding box. So you have like a bounding box for if you click in it, that's kind of the general UI element, but also a special area where the actual texture is rendered onto. Might not be needed, you know. You might just have its own kind of render function which renders its own texture. That's kind of decentralized in a way that you can't put everything in one render at once and then render everything at once if you do it that way. So something to think about for sure. Right, but scene here definitely. So this world behavior is something. Let's say that world is something that we own as the engine. We have a world, and that world defines some sort of world settings, right? Which is like, okay, what's the size of the world? Well, I guess mainly that. And some sort of world behavior, like special behavior, what to do when you take, what to do, you know, what kind of AI are we running? What kind of, like entity AI, I mean, not actual artificial intelligence, and what sort of behavior do we want if we click on some sort of tile, something like that. You know how Unity bounding box work? No. My experience in Unity is quite limited. We did try it once, but yeah, not too much. So we need more types here. I need some sort of struct that defines like world behavior and world type, which is more like a game world then, I suppose, which is something that maybe you do override then. And then you have something like a game UI. That might not be such a horrible thing. So maybe I do want this. Just give me a game world, which can be any subtype of game world. And that will be okay. And then I don't need these templates, which means that I can put everything neatly tucked away in its own CPP file. And I don't need to worry about making everything that interacts with scene a template function. You can have everything behave nicely instead. So I think that might be a good idea. Might just be a good idea. So let's implement that. I'm pretty happy with this. So world here is going to, of course, define world. That's our world, right? We don't want anyone to touch this. And then we want another class, which is game world. And of course, I need to hashtag include utils.h here. So this will be CE exports last game world. There we go. And game world then is going to, this is going to be virtual. Yeah, and that's oh, that's not allowed now. Oh, whatever, man. So we'll have game worlds, game world, game world, game world, game world. Of course, we won't have anything too special here. We're not allowed to make this virtual now. Last time I said that I had to make it. No, I don't want to make it final. What? What? Okay, well, whatever. And then I want some sort of update on click, and I also want some sort of virtual void, and then get world bounds. Something like that, right? And of course, it wouldn't be void, this will be some sort of world bounds type. Yes, which is going to be just a struct, basically. That's let's see. Maybe I should make this CE exports. Actually, I don't even need to export this. I also don't need to export this, right? Nothing in the header file I need to export. Yeah, that's true. You don't need to export anything in a header file. So let's go to you. Let's go to you. For you, we need to game worlds, right? For declaration, yeah, let's just for declare that. Probably makes more sense to have the things that are actually used by our game developers to be on top. That's easier to find, and have the stuff that's kind of internal here at the bottom. I could even do like namespace internal just to drive home the point that this is not something that you really need to look at as a game developer. Generally not a horrible idea. I can explain, or I can try explaining how Unity does it. Also, let me know if it's okay that I'm giving all the feedback. Yeah, no, absolutely. If any of you chatters out there have any questions or any feedback or any ideas, please do share them. I would love to hear it. Because I too, as a matter of fact, or maybe I especially, as a matter of fact, sometimes not particularly smart about these things. Especially when apparently I didn't prepare this stream enough, because I've found like several issues with my own setup that I made for today. So yeah, you know, it happens. Anyways, this struct is just going to be... Do I need to mark this final? Maybe. Actually, I don't really care, but whatever. Of course, this is public, and all that we need here is just a const size t. It's gonna just be a size t default, right? It's fine. For width, or I suppose it should be world width. Yes, and then I need also one that is like world depth, and const size t that is like world height. Right, and any of these can be -1, and then maybe that means the world is infinite in that direction, and that it should have some sort of generative function, right? That wouldn't be such a horrible idea. Well, actually, we can't make it negative because it's unsigned. It will need a bound anyways. Yeah, it will need a bound regardless. So yeah, so there will be bounds. It's just like Minecraft, you know? Even if you generate whatever, your game will never be bigger than like 2 billion voxels in one direction, right? You're getting Minecraft Farlands vibes. Actually, this is an unsigned long, so this will be way more than 2 billion. So there is no way in hell that you're going to ever get to the maximum size there. You know that guy, there's like this one Minecraft YouTuber who has just been walking around in the world, just walking in a straight line, trying to find the Farlands. It's ridiculous. Yeah, there's no such thing as infinite in this finite universe. Yeah, exactly. There's just... It's not possible, man. It's not possible. So let's not try. Instead, our world would be, you know, just really big. Really big. But yes, so this should be a world bounds. It's everything here is const. I think that's totally fine. I don't want any shenanigans with anyone changing this once it's set. That doesn't make any sense. So it also kind of conveys intent, right? Always, or as a content intent is always great. So then we have this game world, which then returns some world bounds. That's great. Anything else here? I think this makes sense. Again, why can't I mark this virtual? Because the other, I swear the other class, I marked it on virtual. So why that's not working here, do not ask. So this one is a no accept. Don't know why that wasn't there. It's here, right? Oh, it's also not here. Crazy. Virtual destructor, virtual update, virtual onClick. I think I'm just gonna call it click. Click will return also something like a click result, but that won't be here. Because a click result... Oh no, wait, we don't need it in the world. In the UI, I want some sort of click result which says either I did something or I didn't do something, and I want the search in this UI tree to continue, or no. I want it to stop. Like, I actually did something meaningful and just stop. And the other parameter is then just, well, I did something at all, but maybe you don't necessarily want to stop at that point. Something like that. But we don't need that here for the world. That's fine. This needs some sort of coordinates, some sort of click result, which may have some coordinates, whether or not it has anything in it. So it's something we will figure out at some other point. You can make it so large it's impossible to explore without cheats still. Use long int for maximum size. Yeah, so size t is, as you can see here, it's an unsigned long. The type def somewhere in the std, so that's great. And also that's, you know, a size type, so kind of conveys what you want there, some sort of size, which it is. So that's great. This is basically it though. So anyone can now extend the game world and implement these functions. I'll actually make them purely virtual. But these will be pure virtual functions. There we go. I don't necessarily need these annotations. This one I will keep because I do need this parameter here at some point. The virtual destructor will just have a default implementation that doesn't do anything. And the same thing for the rest. Do I need to implement this in like a CPP file? I don't think so. Size t has a maximum value of... Now, wouldn't you put that in the text-to-speech, huh? Wouldn't you put that in the text-to-speech? That'd be great. Actually, you guys cannot troll me with text-to-speech anymore, because it's... I don't think it's a thing here on YouTube. Like channel points. That's actually cool. Yeah, there are no channel points on YouTube. I should look that up if I can somehow implement this. That you can do some text-to-speech on YouTube as well. Just after watching for a little bit. That'd be fun, I think. Be fun. Okay. Give me 1 minute to quickly blow my nose. And I'll be right back. There we go. I always feel a little bit congested after talking for so long. But yeah, oh well. Let's continue here. There's donations if you reach like size T max value subscribers with 8 years of watch time. Actually, if we go all the way down to -1 subscribers, would it overflow and give me size T subscribers? Or underflow, I mean? Something to think about. Because somehow unsubscribe more subscribers than I have subscribers. You know? That'd be pretty funny, to be honest. I think I will just make this header only, because it... You know, this behavior, it really doesn't matter if it's defined multiple times over more headers. It's super small, it doesn't really do anything. Like, this game world constructor is just completely empty, literally doesn't do anything. The same thing for the copy constructor and the move constructor. It literally doesn't do anything. So, yeah, let's keep it all here. We don't have any data types. That is for the implementation to define, right? This is purely virtual. Can I say that this is virtual? I don't think so, right? No, that doesn't really make any sense. Yeah. Oh, it's not an equals. Can you make the move constructor now? Well, these are all constructors, so that doesn't really make any sense. I suppose these are default, right? So I can just do this. And this one's actually also default. And this one might also just be default. No, because it needs to be virtual. And a public virtual destructor. At a protected... I think it's final. Okay. Now, so you do need the virtual destructor, but that is just default, so that's totally fine. And then you have like these... Okay, yeah. So it's nice and cleaned up. No need for CPP files. That's then pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's go into our game. Right, and let's say that inside of our game, remember we can actually do this. Inside our game, I want to define our own game world. What are we going to call it? I guess just game world, I guess. The problem is I called this game, I just called it Cuboid Game. It's so super generic that it's actually kind of difficult to come up with reasonable names. Let's give this game a name, shall we? Okay, chat, what's a good name for a game? Any name at all. I need some help here. The sub count used to be significantly, used to be signed, funnily enough. Really? Minecraft 2 Electric Boogaloo. Yeah, let's do that. So, Minecraft... Yeah, that's... Minecraft 2 or 2? 2.0. Yeah, okay, well that's game name equals. There we go. Now, Minecraft world. I don't know, the 2 doesn't quite ring, you know? Maybe it should be Minecraft 2, like that. Minecraft 2 world. Because it's Minecraft 2. You know? it rings a little bit better than having a number in there, I have to say. But this needs to extend the public, CE, and then game rules. Create missing members. Yes. There we go. We override all of these, and we aren't implementing them just yet. Well, actually, this is the CPP file, so we do need to implement them. That's fine. I always like defining types in CPP files whenever possible, because it means that you don't need to have them in your header files and expose them to everyone around, basically. Right, but there was this bug on unsubcounted S2, so someone got like minus 1,000 subs. Man, that sucks so much. Imagine there actually being a bug with subscriber counts, but then instead of it rolling over to size T, like 34028, you know, whatever quadrillion number of subscribers, actually you just get negative. That feels bad, man. That really does feel bad. Honestly, that is probably why they did it. It might still be unsigned now then. Because otherwise, if there is a bug and you do get an underflow, you get instantly the biggest YouTube channel, and the algorithm will probably just push it to everyone ever, and that would be a giant exploit on YouTube. Well, now it's not desirable because you get negative subscribers and YouTube will just hate you, basically. They might have actually thought about that. Anyways, for us, you want to return. And then we want a size T. Max, is that a thing? There's some sort of max value or something, right? I'm pretty sure that exists. I need to find it. STD max value. Not just max. Max value of size T, for example. But the maximum value of size T. Yeah, so this is of course very hacky. Underflowing. Let's not do that. there is a good way to do it. The manifest constants, yeah, a macro. Exists in C99 and it's called size max. There's no such constants later though. Okay. SCD numeric limits. That's it. Numeric limits of size T, and then it's just the max. There we go, and we do that all the times, and you can see that evaluates to. Actually, Jimmy, you were wrong. That is not the same value as that you gave, but this is unsigned long max evaluates to this number. Can we look at it? Unsigned long max. Yeah, that's just a macro. It's just 0x. You know, so that is right. But it's not the same thing, I suppose. Ah, interesting. The 2 to... Ah, but this is 2 to the power 64. That's why. So you got a couple zeros too many. Yeah, so a normal int is 32 bits. And a long is 64 bits. Like in C#, this is the same as a C# normal long, like one long. For some reason, in C++, unsigned long can be interpreted as a 32-bit unsigned integer instead of a 64-bit. Something that they changed later though. Long should be 128. Yeah, I agree. But I believe it's like back, you know, way in the past, back in my day, you know. It was like int. The normal integer was like 16 bits. So then the long was 32 bits. And for backwards compatibility that kind of stayed, but C# didn't care. Because it was a new language. But yeah, so it's basically infinite in width and depth, but like Minecraft. I mean, we're making Minecraft too, so in that sense this makes sense. In world height, we want it to be, let's say, 128 in size, right? In height. Something like that. We will change this at some point. But yeah. So that's great. Love this. If you really want to be kind of, you know, have some nice formatting, you probably should do something like this. You should even really do world width equals this, dot world depth equals this, and dot world height equals that. Yeah. But if you really want to have pretty code that looks nice and it's very readable, then probably should do something like that. Yeah. Minecraft world limit is about 30 million blocks. That's not that much. Really, it's only 30 million blocks. There's one guy on his YouTube channel has been walking around in his Minecraft world for like 10 years, and he's not even reached 30 million blocks. That's crazy. Thought for sure he would get farther. Okay, don't forget that this update actually needs the delta time. I completely forgot about that. But this will need const delta time pt. And yes, technically this is in scene.h. Maybe what we want to do is grab that, put it in util. So we should have like a namespace CE, and just have delta time in there. But actually utils are something that I don't really want to export. Yeah, that's right actually. Let's see, so let's put it back into scene. I'll think about this a bit more. For now, I'm just going to indeed use scene, but I can't import scene because I'm importing world in scene. So then I can't import scene in world. You know how that works? So I need to forward declare a type dev. Oh, getting myself into so much trouble sometimes. Using delta time equals double. And this will work perfectly fine. Alright, technically it's not the same delta time, but it will just get overridden by the same thing. I should think about one kind of utility header file that is exported to everyone. But I want to export this utils. I just want this thing to be internal. Maybe I shouldn't want that. We'll see. Let's add this. So const delta time reference dt. CE delta time, yes. Yes. Right, actually I should also make a constructor, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to basically do anything. Here, so let's say const, and then we'll have int, and then player x equals 0, right, the default initializer, that I don't really need anything in my constructor either. And an update, I'm just going to say player x plus plus. It's const. I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. And in click, we can't really do anything here for right now. Let's do player x minus minus. Maybe we should actually print too. So we should do this and then log. And then we should say something like player x equals player x. There we go. There we go. That's pretty good. Now we have some longer output for whenever this actually gets to run at all. Which won't be today, because I still need to make the entire mechanism to actually accept scene, and scene still doesn't have any UI in it. You know. Int equals 32, long int equals 64, long int is 128. Yeah. You know, modern day, like in modern day CPUs, I don't even think that's possible. Like, that's not how they are made. Right? You do have registers that are that big, that have 128 bits, but they are used for like semi-parallel processing for like SSE instructions, which work differently from normal instructions. I don't think this works, but it would be nice if it did work like that. Sometimes we software engineers, we are, you know, we game developers, we are limited by the technology of our time. Something that we need to accept. The new 30 million block limit is new. Really? What was it before? Modern CPUs work in 64 bits. And they can process 128 bits, but it takes more effort. Or they can. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah. Well, in that case, I mean, I can't wait for the C++ update that actually uses this. I mean, I'm all for it. It's possible, I'm all for it, man. For sure. For now, though, thank you for... What happened? Literally, what happened? You all heard the funny noise? You all heard the funny noise, I hope. I literally don't know what just happened. Right, that's also a thing here in YouTube. It doesn't tell me anything. I have no idea what's going on. The bit speed is... Oh, wow. Okay, so the thing that YouTube is complaining about is that the bit speed, like the bit rate. Sorry, yeah, it's bit rate is 8,500 kilobytes per second, while it's recommended to use 4,500 kilobytes per second. What's a follow? Well, thank you for the follow here on YouTube. Is it like a subscribe? Are we at 800 subscribers? Can we start celebrating now? Hold up, hold up, hold up. Hold on a moment. Yes, we are. 801 actually. Wow, 2 people subscribed. Thank you all so much for subscribing, man. It's time to celebrate. I have nothing to celebrate with. But we can celebrate with more programming. That's for sure. Man, don't you love celebrating with more work? And doing things? And breaking your brain? Man, I love this. Okay, so I suppose if someone subscribes, I also get a weird noise. No? But YouTube doesn't tell me anything. It doesn't tell me what happened. It just says that my bitrate is too high. Which I suppose I'll change next time, but whatever. Not right now, that's for sure. Okay, so these types, don't care. Scene is indeed final. Scene world, this will just be an actual world, right? And this will be an actual AI or UI. Why are you saying I need to... Oh, I need to include that. Yeah. Wait, I just removed my 4 decorations, didn't I? Class worlds. Class UI. The walk of shame. Incomplete. That's true. That sometimes ReSharper does the craziest things. Like what? Oh, worlds specifically is incomplete. It knows where UI is. No, both are incomplete. Why are you having an issue with this? Why can I not use a for declaration? I suppose it doesn't matter. Oh, because it is internal. Oh, that is why. Maybe. Maybe. Hi, Mammoth. Welcome. So that's why C has uint 128T built in. Oh, it actually does have that. Y'all hear that funny noise? 80-year-old streamer, grandpa? Yeah, that's true. Giant boomer. Use ChatGPT. Yeah, I heard that suggestion before today. I will increase my productivity tenfold. Next stream though. I need to make an account and check it out if it is any good. I hear from people that it produces some mediocre code sometimes. Like it works, it gives you something that looks right, that looks like it could work, but then you compile it and it has some bugs in it. That's what I hear, right? But we'll check it out together. We'll see, we'll see. We as programmers always need to be one step ahead of AI, which means that all of us should become AI programmers. Yes. I am convinced of this. If you're a programmer, learn how to write AI. And then you will always be one step ahead of AI, and your job will never be replaced by AI. You feel? It's a big brain moment. I know. Okay, so in here, I guess, to be completely honest, this scene is also namespace internal. Because I don't want anyone to touch this. Using these namespaces this way, I feel like it also conveys a lot of intent. Like, okay, this scene is final, it's in the internal namespace, so, you know, don't touch this. This is mine. Mine, I tell you. So, we need a game world. And world that needs to be initialized with our game world. But of course, we don't have to. Yeah, we don't have to, because this can now all be defined in a CPP file. So that's great, CPP file. Scene .cpp hashtag include scene.h. Oh, not .g. Namespace. CE with a namespace internal. And then we can copy all of this stuff over. Let's remove some of the junk that we're not using at the moment. I'll copy this over. That, and all of these will become unimplemented. There we go. I also like to just get rid of these variable names. When we do this, get world will just return world. To be fair, I don't think we necessarily need this anymore in the way that we are setting all of this code up now. I don't think this will be necessary, but let's just have it for now. Can't hurt. At least I don't think it can. And there we go. Delta time is just a double. We're not going to use any references here. That makes sense. References are kind of the default for me. I like to use references where I can. But if it's just a simple variable, you know, just a double, just a couple of bits, then fair enough. Let's just copy it. And then all of this needs a scene namespace in front. There we go, scene. Let's put that all there. There we go. I think that's right. This should be worlds. This should be UI. That already works. Great. UI.render is still something that doesn't quite work. World.render doesn't quite. That's okay though. That's okay. Okay, so we have this game world, which will be game world, and then we initialize our world with game world. Yes, and then UI. I means that we will initialize UI with UI. Right, we'll just copy. It's okay. It's okay. Same thing with a copy constructor. We copy with a copy constructor. That's crazy. And then we move with a move constructor. I suppose we should do std move here. Std move there. Still need to figure out how to write these properly, these move constructors. I should probably look that up sometime. Honestly, I don't really use SSD move that much. It's cool because in principle you can keep the same memory and then just literally just move it from one owner to another without actually having to copy it. So if you're talking about a large amount of data, it's supposedly quite fast. But yeah, you know. I don't really know, man. I should look into how that actually works. It's not something that is similar to anything that we have in C# or Java or any other language. Even C doesn't have it. As far as I know, of course. Might not be true. Who knows? So for now, we have world.render, which also should take in a const data time. DT. No, actually, no. No DT. And tick as well. Right. Then we have the world, which then no longer has these virtual functions. It's no longer virtual at all. The normal world will actually just be final. This world will simply just contain world behavior, right? It will just contain game world. This world will handle everything to do with rendering. It will handle everything to do with the actual storage of cubes, of voxels. But it won't have any actual behavior. It's just like a static, do nothing type of world. It just has a couple of cubes in it, and that's it. Now the behavior comes in with game world. And in game world, of course, it defines exactly how large the world is, but okay, whatever. And it defines, okay, what happens on every tick. Does something happen? Does a tree fall? Does an entity move? Does the player move? Does the player destroy something like mine a block? I guess we're making Minecraft 2 now, so Let's do that. Actually, I really like the idea of making Minecraft 2. That was a great idea, Nathan. That was a great idea. Java is not a good idea because virtual machine's slow, but I love Java. Java is surprisingly fast for a virtual machine. But yes, indeed, once we're working with super high performance code, like this is going to be, you know, ray tracers and all, that will require some real performance. So yes, let's actually use C++. And it's fun. I reckon that a lot of people in chat right now are not super familiar with C++. So I think that's great. I think it's great that it also shows people something that I don't know yet and that they can learn from. Hello, Mr. Random YouTube recommendation. Hi, Mr. Random Chatter. How do you do, man? Oh, that's great. I love YouTube recommendations. My best friend. UI doesn't have a render function? That I find very hard to believe. UI does not have a render function. Well, hello there. Let's actually, yeah, let's change this to click as well. Of course, for click, we can just keep the X and Y coordinate. I don't think we need special types here. I think double will be more than clear enough. Nowadays, I like to have my own custom types like world bound or bounds, which is really nothing more than just a couple of size t's. And the same with delta time, which is just a double, but it just conveys intent, right? It's like, okay, well, this is not just any double, this is delta time. Good, thank you. How about yourself? I'm also doing great. Yeah, thanks. So this ray tracer voxel engine of ours is coming along very slowly, but very surely as well. Let's have a render function here, and let's also have a void tick function here, which should have some delta time. Probably. I actually don't need DT there. So let's see. Both should have a delta time. And oh, these definitely shouldn't be references. Where was it a reference? There was a reference somewhere. I just copied that from somewhere. Ah, there we go. Yeah. So in game worlds, of course, update this definitely shouldn't be a reference because it's just a double. So I do believe it's actually slower than a reference. As a matter of fact, I do believe that the compiler probably just takes out the reference. And it's like, nah, we're not doing that. You're just copying mate. If it can deduce that you're never actually using the reference, that is, of course. Because the reference is different than the copy. Semantics-wise as well. Okay. Can I... Hello? Cannot perform this action, most likely because errors in source code. Okay. I'll have it your way then. Guess I'm not going to do that. Alright. Well, that was weird. You are no accepts. I don't know why the no accepts keep disappearing. It's like the internal mystery of the no accepts. It's a bit strange. Okay. I made UI final now. Of course, render is not something that I want to saddle the game developer with. That's something that we do internally. Game developers, don't worry about it. You just give us like a size and a texture and a bounding box, and then we render it for you. Great. So this is definitely ours. And the tick function is definitely, again, the UI's thing, right? But the UI is these different... the UI is this tree. For if you weren't here before, we have a root, which contains the entire screen. And then from there you have like this inventory slot, so that's like a child of the root UI, and then you have like this menu bar that's like a child, and the menu bar has different buttons like settings and inventory buttons. So if we just provide this main UI function, which kind of deals with the rendering, deals with any other sort of events, incoming events, and then just give it one UI element, like the root element, then from there, anything else follows, right? You can just call root.tick and root.click, basically. I feel like that's fair. Advanced painting? Yeah, absolutely. We do it all the time. If only I had a more advanced program for this sort of stuff. Paint is great. How much time have you been working on it? So, actually, we have been working on it for a very long time, if you consider the first version. I'll actually put it up for you. I think that will be quite interesting. Where are we? Here. Of course, Stack Overflow. Let's go to GitHub. And then we have Keyword Engine Legacy. So here we go. So before we worked on Keyword Engine, like this, and this was in C#. So you can actually look this up. Go to my GitHub page. It's just No Numberman. I'm called No Numberman over there, surprisingly. And we got a ray tracer to work, as you can see. Quite nice. It worked well. Though it had its issues, of course. I mean, the sky is kind of black, but it's easy enough to solve. Yeah, so it's just C#. You have to use this solution with the Visual Studio. I didn't have CMake or anything like that back then. You can see, like, this was 2 years ago. Wait, was this 2 years ago? I thought it was only 1 year ago. Because Keyword Game was 1 year ago. Has it been 2 years, guys? Seriously? Okay, so maybe this has been longer than I thought. Oh, wait, this is the main branch, of course. Oh, right, this is the main branch. Yeah. So the main branch, we produced this, I believe. But now I've been away for a while. I mean, you might have noticed the lack of YouTube videos as well. For all the YouTube people out there. I've been very busy with school, so, you know, not that much content going on. But now I'm back, at least a little bit. And I thought, let's just start over. Let's do it in C++. So instead of having this C# thing, where we have this game worked out, this game engine worked out, with many static functions, it's great. We're going to do it in C++, and now we're going to use CMake and all sorts of other more like modern modern approaches, or I shouldn't say modern, but more professional approach. Right? Yeah, that was a great time. We did all of it over on Twitch, but I also realized that a lot of YouTube people were on Twitch, which is why I'm streaming here now, and I'm checking it out if that's fun for everyone. I think so. I think this has been great, although YouTube does really miss a couple of very important features in my opinion, which is, like on Twitch you have these points. Let's go like if you watch, you get points, and then once you get enough points, you can redeem them for certain rewards. So you can tell me that I need to zoom in my camera, for example, or I need to drink a glass of water, or was one people really liked text-to-speech, so they could just type something up and, you know, like a robot voice would start talking to me. Like, that was pretty fun. Something that YouTube is very, very sorely lacking. At least from what I see right now. Maybe there's a way to set it up on YouTube as well. I should look into that. You have your Twitch alert box here. Yeah. But I don't know why that's actually working right now. I believe it also works when people subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe that's what's happening. Great way to plug. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Wink, wink. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. So if this is a success, and I do believe it is, I'm having fun, then I'll keep doing it here on YouTube. Then after the stream is done, I'll probably archive this stream somewhere in a playlist, so it's like protected. You can find it on my normal upload list, but you can go to playlists and then click on Voxel Engine Dev Streams, I suppose. And there everything should be archived as well. Well, on Twitch, that's not really the case. On Twitch, they just delete everything, and then it's gone forever. Anyways, I don't want this initialize thing anymore because we determined that that's really not necessary. So let's get rid of that. This can then be final. And then for the constructor, what we really need is we need a UI element reference, which will be the root element. Or like the, maybe I shouldn't call it roots. Maybe we should call it something like a, I don't know. What is a good name for this? It's like some sort of like master element or something. Maybe I should have a separate structure class that is basically the same as a UI element, but it just is always the top element. Maybe that's not bad. But it's also a lot of repeated code. You know what they say, like, don't repeat yourself? Oh, that's written correctly, that's fine. So this is fine then, I suppose. Okay, what time is it? Okay, we've been streaming for 2 hours. Continue. Yeah, let's finish this. Okay, I'm going to finish this. I feel like that's fair. So let's create a new class here. Class UI elements. And this will then not be final. Because this is where you really define what your UI does. Your widget, I suppose. So private, I don't think we really have anything private here, but we would have something like, oh, hello. Can I have you at the same level? I still need to fix my, what's it called, my resharper tool, because I believe it's very much conflicting with IntelliSense right now. And both of their formatters are on, like IntelliSense and resharper, and they're basically fighting each other all the time. And my formatting just changes. Super annoying. You really figure out exactly how that works. Okay, so for a UI element, I don't really care about the constructors, I suppose. What I should have is a tick and a click function for now. Both will be virtual and virtual. And both will be purely virtual as well. Now, are you going to tell me? Oh, right, public virtual destructor. Yes, that's true. So we have a virtual, and then that's just, see, like now I get this. So two functions here start at this indentation, and then one starts at this indentation. It doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. Do you know about Obsidian? It's a planning application like Paint, but a bit more, you know, made for planning. Oh, you just randomly set Obsidian. Like, okay. I don't know what that is. Okay. I'm willing to humor you for a second. Obsidian.md? A second brain for you forever. Well, you know, I wouldn't be opposed to a second brain. Right, so it is like a node block or a notepad kind of thing. Well, of course, not like the Windows notepad, but you know what I mean. Like a notebook. You would have at home on paper, but now we're a digital age. Great. Man, I feel like such a boomer when I say something like that. Back in my day, we had it on paper. We used a pen. Man, that's crazy. Okay, but you can like plan things, you can do that. Writing is telepathy. Yeah, man, sure. Okay, but it's expensive though. Personal is completely free. Huh. Okay. Well, I might check this out on my free time then. Of course not on stream, but... Yeah. You can actually make notes on this then, yes. Because then you could make like a design document in this, and then I could share this on the Discord. By the way, if you're not in the Discord, join the Discord, it's great. I announce streams there, and I put this kind of stuff in there. Yeah, I'll have a look at that after stream. For now, let's see if we can finish this off. So this is a UI element, and really it's just for Q8 game or for our Minecraft 2 to overwrite. Right, to implement this purely virtual class. That seems great. I still needed some sort of function to get a texture, to get the bounding box of our UI element, to get the actual texture size of the element. Maybe what I should do is, since textured textures are always sized anyways, I should create a special texture struct that contains both like the texture ID or the name or whatever and a size. Or at least like a ratio. Right, now it should be a ratio because then you can use the same texture on different positions with different sizes, but the ratio is probably important. Right. So basically what we're going to say is we're going to have like a virtual void and then get texture. And then remember, this is a function and that's on purpose because the texture might change. Like if you have an animation going on, or if you want to have an animation going on for your UI element, why not just use this function for that? Just look at the time, you know, look at what you returned last tick, and now on a new tick, you just return a new texture. Problem solved. Of course, that does require me on every render call to actually update the texture. So maybe there should be some sort of variable here that says, well, you know, I can give you a different texture on every tick, while another element might say, no, I will always return the same texture, so don't worry about me. Maybe that's something that we can look into. Of course, for now, we'll keep everything simple and small, and actually I'm even going to do this. This, of course, this void will have some sort of like texture type later. Virtual void, and then we also need like get bounding box is also pretty virtual. This, of course, will be like just line bounding box, which is a type that we will implement later. Maybe I should even do like a BB. Where do I find the Discord link? Ah, yes, maybe I should share that. Let's do that quick. The Discord link is like everywhere and nowhere. Maybe. Oh, you know what I can do on YouTube? I actually have a description box, don't I? Like under the stream, there's actually a description. I can totally put it in there. Let's see. There are definitely advantages to YouTube. How do I invite someone? Custom invite link. Oh, that seems pretty cool. But I think I need to pay for that. Invite people. Okay. Or send a server invite to a friend. Well, I guess you are all friends. Expires in 7 days. Fair enough. So be quick. You'd be here, you know, before the 7 days expires. Can I still change my my description of this stream? That doesn't seem to be the case. Fair enough. In that case, that's the link. YouTube might ban me for posting a link in chat, but you know, it is what it is. I prefer Twitch panels, but yeah, YouTube has advantages too. Yeah, the Twitch panels are also a thing, but I feel like no one ever looks at the Twitch panels. Now, fair enough, no one really looks at the YouTube description either, but yeah, no, you know, yeah, it's fair. You're right. It's abstract, yeah, that's true. And wait, why can't I actually have an abstract type here? I know that those are purely functional or virtual. So, well, that's kind of sad. Why can I not have this? That's a bit of a problem, to be honest. Okay, let's have these two here. We'll implement that later because obviously we have nothing like a texture right now, so there's really no point in implementing this. The same thing for actually implementing a version of UI element because, well, we're far away from actually rendering a UI, so why bother? This is strange though. I know that UI element is abstract. However, do I need like one non-virtual? It's still abstract, yeah, then it's still abstract, or non-pure abstract. or pure functional. Right, so if any of them is purely virtual, then it doesn't work. Why not? Anyone here is C++ expert by any chance? Man, I feel like C++ is interesting because I have so much experience in this language. I really do. I really do. I've been working with this language exclusively for over a year now, and I've been working with it a lot. Yet every time I find something new in this language that's just completely blows my mind, or baffles me in this case. C++, and then for abstract data type. Abstract data type is a type that defines a set of operations that can be performed on data without specifying how those operations are implemented. It provides an interface for working with data in a high-level abstract way. Yeah, that's what it is. Why can I use it? This doesn't make any sense. This is... okay, you know... I started learning C++ about 2 weeks ago, so I'd say I'd qualify as an expert. The library got me acting up. Yeah, the standard library in C# is like the golden standard that anyone should aspire to because it's really, really great. In my opinion. Java is really close. I feel like the C# like standard, the .NET Core libraries are a little bit better than the standard Java libraries. But that's probably just because I like the language itself a little bit better. Slightly biased opinion. This might be it. Yeah, so I want to store it. But now it really hates you. You can use a smart pointer instead of a built-in pointer. Or you can use boost any and then cast to a real type. Really? This is like a Java object class. That's funny. So, right, so he wants to have a STD vector with my interface. With a pointer, but that doesn't work. But it does work if you use a unique pointer, because then it just uses the template. Really? Seriously? That's how it works? Like use an STD unique pointer? Sure enough, that works. But why though? Literally, but why? Shouldn't this get the same error inside of the implementation of unique pointer? Like, wouldn't like class here start to act up because it's not completely implemented? Yeah. You will get used to the C++ standard library though. Like the STL, it is good. And it does what it needs to do. It's just very different than that of C#. And you definitely need to use the documentation to be able to use it properly. But it's fine. Like it does what it needs to do, really. And honestly, if you just know how to use std vector, you can get very far. Like std vector is amazing. Yeah. So now I need to get the pointer to UI element. That's gonna be horrible because of course I wanna copy it. Maybe I need to copy it into a heap allocation and then put it in this pointer. It's possible, man, it's possible. Okay, let's think about that next time. It's getting late, everyone. I am going to end the stream pretty soon here. So thank you all for being here. I thought it was pretty fun. Again, I'm going to put this stream in the archive a little bit later, so probably maybe tonight, probably tomorrow. I'm going to put it in a playlist. It's already in a playlist actually, but then I'm going to just private it or protect it. It will be cluttering all the other YouTube videos. Not sure when the next YouTube video is going to come. Maybe that's going to take still a very long time, but we'll see. Probably next stream will be on Thursday, and we'll just continue with this. I think that's going to be great. So I'm going to prepare some stuff. I'm going to look at ChatGPT, I'm going to look at Obsidian, and then I'm going to prepare what we're going to do in the next stream, and hopefully that will be fun. It definitely will be fun, but hopefully ChatGPT will be of some help. I'm very curious how that's gonna go. Man, ChatGPT, I've heard some weird stories about that thing. That's gonna be a wild ride. Yes, be sure to be there if you want to be notified whenever I go live. Then either subscribe to the YouTube channel, or click on the Discord link and join the Discord, or preferably do both. You know, it's free. Anyways, man, YouTubers can be so cringe. I can't believe myself. Hope to see you all later, and have a wonderful rest of your day/evening. Bye bye.